You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle.
How's it going, everybody? This is Nick here from Veterans Action Report. We're doing the show a little differently this week. Long story short, down in Kentucky doing some disaster relief. Just to kind of share a little bit about what happened. A lot of you know that there was a large tornado that went through the Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois area and caused quite a bit of destruction. I had been wanting to do some disaster relief for a long time and never really had a reason, never really had an excuse to go somewhere. Long story short, Kevin is a veteran who moved to Minnesota from Kentucky. And just to be a little closer to us, just to be closer to a few people that he knew from the military. And so Kevin's been in Minnesota for about a year, and we have become pretty good friends. He's helping us out with the car and everything like that. And I heard about the tornado go through on Friday, and I started watching some of the videos and pictures, and I couldn't believe the destruction that was actually happening. And then I get a call from Kevin. Kevin told me he couldn't find his mom. So it had been a couple days and still no word from his mom. They've called, checked the house, checked the address. There's a bunch of different things that they tried to do, and we could not locate her. So there's my excuse. There's my reason. So I told Kevin, I was like, hey, let's drive down to Kentucky. It's only 11-hour drive. It's not that difficult of a drive. So me and Kevin got ready to go, and early Monday morning after I dropped my kids off at school, me and him got in the truck and we gathered a bunch of supplies. Thank you to everybody who donated. I put a post out there saying, hey, we're driving down to Kentucky. We need supplies. And we got 3 cases of water. We got some food and everything like that, mostly for ourselves because we were planning on sleeping in the truck. And so what ended up happening was we got 2 chainsaws because everybody was saying that they need help cutting down trees. So we grabbed 2 chainsaws we grabbed one from Home Depot, and we got another one at Walmart. They're not great quality, but hey, they worked. We chopped up trees all. It ended up working out really nice. And it was all of that money went directly to that and gas to get down here and everything like that. So on the ride down, me and Kevin were talking quite a bit about, preparing for what we were about to see. Now, I've seen tornado destruction on TV and everything like that, but it's a different animal, when you actually see it in person. So we didn't really see much destruction until we actually got into Kentucky and we drove over a hill going into Mayfield, and Mayfield is destroyed. They're calling that ground zero. We've been in a couple other cities. We've been in Casey. We're down in Sandstone right now. Spent all the time in Hickman as well. Sandstone is in Tennessee, right on the south side of the Kentucky border. And when we got into Mayfield, we drove around for probably about an hour, just in awe of how bad everything was down there. There's roofs that are completely ripped off. There's 2-story buildings that are now 1-story buildings. There's people displaced all over the town, and it was kind of hard to watch. But the crazy thing is everybody is working together to build back. And the one thing that there is no scarcity of is water. So if you're looking to send stuff out, don't send water. They have massive amounts of water. It seems like everybody got together and decided to send every case of water in the world to Mayfield. So they're doing good on water. They still don't have running water, but they have plenty of bottled water. And then food as well. They're overstocked with food. It's all non-perishable stuff, so they should be good on food and everything for a long time. So if anybody's looking to send stuff down, they don't really need food and water right now. It's kind of an overabundant. They have the whole army, the army armory is full. the warehouse is full of food and full of water. So don't worry about all that. Now, this tragedy is going to take months for them to build back from, and they're they could use some help with some workers. They could use some help cutting down trees. I mean, we spent all day yesterday cutting trees down. So what ended up happening was we stopped at a bar over in Paducah, Kentucky, and we actually got offered to go stay at somebody's house because we told them we were going to stay in our truck. And they said, "Well, why don't you come sleep at my place?" And everybody here, like I said, has been so nice. We had a place to stay. And then last night, we actually got introduced to George, who I'm actually going to be bringing on here in a second. He just got back. And George actually got us a camper to stay in. So we got a nice bed to sleep in last night as well. We ended up getting in Monday night. So Monday night, we stayed at that lady's house. Last night, we stayed at a camper. And then George put us on some trees that needed to get cut down yesterday and worked out really well. And then today, we were actually helping out trying to do a body recovery. And I'm going to bring George on so George can actually talk a little bit more about that. He knows way more than I do. So I'm going to bring George on from Go Rescue. One second here. George, how you doing?
Hey, good. How about yourself, Nick?
Oh, I can. There we go. I can hear you now. Doing good, man. Thank you, by the way, for getting us a place to stay and a warm meal last night. I really appreciate it.
Not
we
a
were
problem.
looking forward to eating soup.
You come all the way down here, you deserve something. Like we talked before, I've slept in my truck before, and it's after a long day, even a cold day is better than a warm truck.
Yeah, no, it was nice. It was nice too because before you got to the church last night, me and Kevin went out there and said, "Hey, does anybody know George?" And they said, "Well, yeah, we kind of know who he is. Just go ahead and hang out." And so we were gonna wait for you, and we were asking for Jay Black's house, and they're like, "Who are you people?" Like just random folks asking for people you don't know. And I was like, "Well, we drove down from Minnesota to help, and we were told we'd have a place to stay tonight." I'm like, "Oh, do you guys need some food?" And we went down there, and there's just a whole like buffet of food sitting there that people have been cooking. So it's been really nice and humbling seeing how everybody's been coming together with all this stuff.
Yeah, we see that with most storms, that we go to, and it's everybody coming together for one common cause, regardless of your race, your religion, your political belief. We're Americans, we're human beings, we should take care of each other.
So real quick, tell us about your organization, Go Rescue.
So Go Rescue is a brainchild of mine and a couple other buddies of mine. We started off doing this during hurricanes. It kind of kicked off during Hurricane Harvey in Texas. And then we just morphed. So we do natural disasters, mainly hurricanes. It's our first tornado. I've never seen, in my 48 years of being alive, I've never seen anything like this before. It's so surreal. Movies, pictures, video, nothing can put the visual in your brain of what's actually happening out here, what's happened. I mean, this is never happened before. I mean, this is, it's crazy. And then mainly we do, we got away from the natural disaster part of the business and more into missing persons, drownings, autism, Alzheimer's, dementia. But this, I was in the Coast Guard for 22 years, and so I try to bring some of my experience from that to doing these searches. And best case scenario, find somebody alive. Worst case scenario, at least we bring closure for the family.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about your time in the Coast Guard.
I spent 22 years in the Coast Guard. I was mainly a search and rescue boat driver by trade. Of course, it's in the military. The higher up you get, the further away you get from your job. But that's my passion. That's my passion. Is driving boats and helping people out. I joined when I was 17 years old. Had to get permission from my mom to join, and from then it morphed. Just like we were talking earlier, it's our love, like you said. Our love is helping others out, caring about people, and just trying to be the best person I can be. And it's every situation is different. So it's been real interesting. This one has been an eye opener to what wind can do, and it's crazy, as you've seen.
Well, I was just telling him. Oh yeah, I was just telling everybody this is the first time that we had a tornado go through in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area a couple times. And I see some trees down, stuff like that, and like maybe like a house had a tree on it, and that's about it. But you come here, man. Like I said, when I went over that hill on 45 going down into Mayfield,
Yeah.
you're right at the arch of a hill. Right as you come in, the city is right there, and everything is just leveled. And I've never seen so many buildings that are down. And I've seen places in Iraq that look nicer than that. That place was completely destroyed, man.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It's as you know, we're talkers, we talk a lot. And when I got here yesterday to do my brief with the sheriff's department and the fire department, I couldn't speak for a few minutes. They were just taking it in and seeing the destruction. And unfortunately, officially, this area, 2 lives were lost, presumably 3. But in the whole big picture, for as many people that were in this building and the security guard that was in that little shack that got thrown 50 yards into the water and he walked out.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, whatever you believe in, whatever spiritual belief you have, it's whether it's luck or you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and like.
Well, so real quick on that story, there's a guard shack here that's not too far away from the water, and from what the sheriff was saying, he not only was the shack completely destroyed, but he was launched and was found alive, pinned against a tree. And the fact that he survived is that's pure luck, man. Like somebody's watching over him, man.
Yeah, he better go buy a lottery ticket because, man, and I've seen some crazy stuff, but it's hearing the stories, like one of my best friends in Casey, Kentucky. If you go to our Facebook page, we have a video of him talking about his parents, his 85-year-old grandmother, and his nephew riding out the storm in this house. And I'm not talking about a trailer. I'm talking about a brick and mortar house. Was completely blown away, except the bathroom where they were in. And I remember growing up as a kid, like a tornado comes, get in the doorway, or go run in the bathroom, and you think it's one of those old wives' tales, but damn, there you go. I mean, it's just like there's nothing left of this house. I mean, the roof was gone, everything was gone except the 2 walls in the bathroom and the toilet in the bathtub. And just hearing stories.
Well, one of those EMS guys that were just here were telling us a story about how a wall actually fell onto 2 people that were inside of a bathroom, and they kept trying to push the wall off of them. But what actually happened was the wall fell on top of them, and that's the only reason why they didn't get sucked out of the room, because the rest of the room fell.
That's this hotel.
So that was this. Okay, so that was that one over there.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was here or not.
Yeah, the far hotel room. That's like that one wall that's standing up. That's where they were at.
Yeah,
right there.
So we're actually sitting here right now at this hotel. I'm going to get out of the car and kind of showing you guys some video here in a little bit. So for those of you who want to see the video, I apparently am a bad boy, and I was banned from Facebook for hate speech because I was listening to a Kid Rock song. It just randomly came on. I said, everybody's inner white trash wants to start headbanging, mosh pitting when Ball with the Ball from Kid Rock comes on. So I'm banned from Facebook. So this won't be on Facebook, but it'll all be on YouTube, on KGRA and Warriors Next Adventure and Veterans Action Report YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch the video, for those of you that are listening on the radio, you can go back to KGRA, Veterans Action Report, or Warriors Next Adventure YouTube to see the videos. And in a little bit here, I'll go out and take some videos. But so how do people get a hold of you to actually call you out to actually look for this kind of stuff?
Like I said, we mainly my wheelhouse right now is missing persons on land, drownings. We specialize in kids and adults with autism, elderly with dementia, and Alzheimer's. And they go on our Facebook page is the best way to do it. We also have our website, obviously, but I'm one of them guys. I'm in the field so much, I don't like checking my email. So I have people check Facebook on a daily basis, but
Sure.
So that's the best way to get a hold of us. And we travel. I'm retired, so I'll go anywhere, wherever somebody needs me. Everything's on my dime. I pay for everything. Our services are free of charge. We can do consulting. The only thing that we have to do is get permission from the local law enforcement to enter a case.
Sure.
But the families, by all means, can get a hold of us, and even if it's not to physically go out there or consult, we've had families call us like, "Hey, our sheriff's department's doing this. Is this the right thing? Are they doing everything that can be done?" And 9 times out of 10
Sure.
it is, but it just gives family members that reassurance that yes, law enforcement or the fire department or whoever's in charge of their case is actually putting in the effort that needs to be done. And there, we've done it enough that we have enough resources. We have resources with the Air Force, FBI, news stations. We're really good at getting media coverage on stories. So we're willing to help anybody. It doesn't matter who it is or where it is. Like I said, we'll travel well. We can pack up this truck and go wherever we need to go.
Yeah. So you were talking about how, I've had a bunch of people asking me like, "Hey, what does everybody need down there?" And the first thing you said is never water, because everybody brings water and that's all that they have. What would you suggest for some people that are maybe interested in sending some stuff down for supplies?
So typically, like you said, rule 1 to 1 million in helping out during any kind of natural disaster is no water. That's the first million rules right there. You just add them all up. The second rule is whatever area you want to help out, contact the local churches there, contact the emergency management, get a hold of somebody first and find out their needs, because everything changes. Like I told you earlier, we're in KC, Kentucky this morning. They needed some diapers. We've been gone for about 5 or 6 hours. The needs change. So, but if they call and they say, "Hey, we have a church group, we have a bunch of friends, we have family that want to get together and collect something for you guys. What do you need?" And get that person's name, their phone number, and get what they need and tell them the day you're going to be there, because it happens every day, happens every storm. You'll have somebody from 300 miles away coming with all this stuff, and there's not a need for it. And they get mad because they're turned away, but it's the double-edged sword. They put themselves in that situation. They didn't confirm what was needed there.
Sure.
For like you said, this storm here is at such a magnitude that it's not a week-long thing.
No, these guys are going to take months to recover over here.
These are going to take months, years, if they even do recover a lot of the places. So it's hard. That's a difficult question to answer. Now, the biggest thing that let me backtrack. KC, Kentucky, where we were at, where Nick helped out yesterday, is a small rural community in far southwest, western Kentucky. The population is 90. Out of those 90, everybody was affected in some way or another. They know somebody, obviously, but the biggest concern with the parents, I think there's about 12 to 15 kids that live there, was Christmas. They're, like I said, it was very low income. And then that was their, obviously, the presents that were bought are gone. There's, like Nick can attest to, there's nothing. Like there's some trailers and houses. There's some trailers and houses that are spread for half a mile to 3/4 of a mile. You're not going to find
that lady's house that we were at yesterday had a 20,000 pound grain silo gone. They don't know where it is.
Just gone. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And so the infrastructure and the storage there in that area, in the surrounding towns, is not there, and what they do have is already packed. So for the Christmas and to get supplies like bath towels and let's see, what do we have? Bath towels, bed in a bag set, stuff like that. If we say, "Hey, everybody send bath towels to KC, Kentucky," then they're gonna get tractor trailers of all this stuff. So, and that's what happens. I've opened my mouth and stuck my foot in my mouth, say, "Hey, small town USA needs baby diapers." Next thing you know, you have 5 tractor truck, trailers coming in with baby diapers.
Yeah.
So for this situation, to alleviate that problem, on our Facebook page, pinned at the top, is the needs that we've been told so far by individual family members.
And your Facebook page is the same as your website, right?
Correct.
Go Rescue.
Yeah. So it's an Amazon wish list. It's gonna be very fluid. So if there's something on there that's a little more expensive that somebody can't afford, next couple of days as more families start coming back in, we're gonna be talking to them and seeing what are their needs. And 100% of whatever is purchased on that Amazon wish list is going to go to the families that are there. We're not gonna get more than we need. There also is, and that wish list is approved by the emergency management. We don't do anything on our own. We don't collect funds or anything like that. And the emergency management coordinator approved for the Baptist church and the bank over there to collect under that for those
Yeah,
people.
the KC Baptist Church. If you guys want to get a hold of them, those guys are doing great stuff. They're taking care of the community. The one thing that I've noticed down here, man, is everybody is so nice and everybody is so welcoming. And I'm gonna get fat down here because I've eaten more food in the last few days than I have in the last month. It's been really nice. Like the Red Cross was out here earlier with a hot meal, and it was really nice that everybody's really taking care of each other. And I wish it didn't take a tragedy for people to come together.
Exactly. And that's why I fell in love with this place. I was stationed here up there in Kentucky in 2006, and the chief I relieved coming in for his new job, I asked him about, like, man, how's the community? He's like, they really don't like us, blah 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 blah. I went out in the community, introduced myself. I wound up standing in a couple of weddings. I was in the best man of another wedding. A couple of the people that are here are their family. I mean, they took us in like family. It's like me and my family in. We're within weeks we're being invited to people's houses and stuff like that. So it's a very tight knit community. Like I said, they're very friendly. It's just a great area, and we have volunteers with Go Rescue that help us with missing persons and drownings up here, and also with stuff in the Gulf Coast when hurricanes, they come down and help out with that. So it was only right for us to come back and not only to take care of our own, but to take care of family, because that's, as a community, like your nonprofit, what you do, and us, we're a community, and regardless of if you're up in Minnesota, something happens up there, we're going to go up there to help you guys out, because that's that's the type of people we are. And it's and here it's great to see, like, here, wherever it's at in this area, your house might be damaged, but before you take care of yours, you're going to go help your neighbor take care of theirs, and that's just what, you've seen that, in the past couple of days. So it's pretty, like you said, it's sad that it takes something like this for, our country to come together for a couple of weeks, but hey, let's enjoy this, why everybody's, on the same side for once.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about something. So earlier, me and you were chatting a little bit about meaning in the 5 love languages and everything like that. And for those who don't know, the 5 love languages, one of the languages of love is acts of service, and it tends to be veterans' main love language is service. I mean, because that's what we did in the military. And I would challenge any veteran who is struggling outside of the military as a veteran. If you are struggling in some sense, ask yourself, when is the last time that you tried to make somebody else's life a little bit better? Because when you focus on other people and you give back, you get that automatic return. And I tell people all the time with Warriors Next Adventure, half the reason why I do it is because it makes me feel like I have a reason to be here. So why do you continue to do this kind of stuff outside of the Coast Guard?
So, like I said, in the Coast Guard, I was a rescue boat driver, and there's a few cases that, rescue cases on the water that, in the back of my mind is, I know it's not my fault, but could I have done something different? So Go Rescue is kind of my penance. It's giving back, it's helping, it's like the service of just helping people out, and it's almost a therapy. It's therapeutic for me. It helps me with my PTSD, believe it or not. Yes, do we meet families at their worst time in their lives? Yes, but you're either, the end goal is to bring people closure, and that's all that we want to do, whether it's finding the person alive or recovering somebody. or just being that voice of semi reason, like this is why this is happening. I met the family here yesterday. I said, look, I'm very blunt. I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. This is what happens in these situations. So that's why I do it, and that's why we're very tight community, or like my group's very tight. We're very small, and we like it that way. But like you said, if there's any veterans out there, I don't care where they're in the United States, if you feel this is something you would like to do, by all means, I'm willing to go open up a chapter in your area, teach you how to do what I do, and you can be like one of my supervisors for wherever you're at, and we can spread the love of helping other people out. And it's not only helping other people out, it's helping yourself. It helped. What Nick's doing is it's therapeutic for him. It helps him out mentally and physically, and doing this is also just helps me out the same way that it does help Nick. And if there is anybody that would like to do what we do, or learn what we do, and learn more about what we do, I love talking about it, and that's what we can offer for our veterans to helping them guys out.
Well, I just really appreciate you. It's funny how it all got worked out. First off, I didn't say it yet, but I just want to say thank you, Justin, for pretty much doing my logistics for me while I was on my way down here. Justin has worked a bunch of disasters, and I was supposed to go do my first disaster with Justin, but he's in North Carolina right now, and he actually did the logistics for me. So while I was driving down here, I gave him a call, said, "Hey, who do you know?" And he actually used to work for, I think it was called Veterans Disaster Response Team.
Yep.
And then he got a hold of Tidewater, and Tidewater got a hold of you. And so I connected through you through like 3 different chains of people. But the fact that what's that?
It's like 5 points to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Well, it worked out nice too, because, when we got in Mayfield, I'm like, you know what? There's too many people here. There's got to be other places that need help. And, not saying that they don't deserve it, because that place is destroyed, but, there had to have been other places. And so when you finally gave me a call yesterday, and, we're just like, hey, what can you do? I'm like, well, whatever you need. I came down here to work. So like, whatever it is you need, and in the Air Force, we're actually trained to do strip and grid and do proper searching techniques. And then in Iraq and Afghanistan, when the base gets attacked, we have to go out and search and, pull out dead bodies and do all kinds of stuff. So we're trained to do all of this stuff. And so it actually worked out really well, where we are today. Unfortunately, we're kind of, done searching on land, but it worked out really nice. We got a bunch of chainsaws. You sent us out to that lady's house, and she was an absolute sweetheart. Just a wonderful Kentucky farmer. She came out and bullshit with us for a little bit. Amazing woman. I got her address and everything like that. I usually, when I'm bored, or I need some like kind of therapy or whatever, I'll take like these circle pieces of wood, and I'll actually carve my logo on the wood. And so I cut a bunch of pieces of that, and cut a big one too. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to mail you one of these, because I had her address. I'm like, I'm going to make one of these for you. I'm going to send it out to you. And, she brought a Subway. And like I said, man, everybody here has just been amazing. So yesterday, I think we spent like 6 hours cutting apart some trees, man. It was rough. I'm not going to lie. I slept like a baby last night, especially when we got to that trailer last night. And again, thank you. We were planning on sleeping in our truck, and you're like, well, we got a camper for you guys. I'm like, hell yeah. And I think we got in that camper at 8:00, and I slept until 7. So it was
on a
good
side
sleep.
note for everybody watching, we're Nick will show you the area, but we are at pretty much ground zero right here. So I have searchers out doing stuff, and I'm just keeping an eye on everybody, so we're not just haphazardly looking around at women in bikinis.
Yeah. So why don't I go out, and I'm going to record a little bit. Why don't you kind of walk everybody through, what's all going on? So I'll let you kind of talk, because it'll be a little windy out there. So I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay.
it's pretty crazy what you guys are about to see. It can get a little. What the hell's going on here? Sorry, man. I'm on my phone. I'm usually doing this on my. I'm usually doing all this stuff on my phone here. All right. Anyway, we'll do this. So this is where we got called out to do a search and rescue. Why don't you talk a little bit about what we're looking for here?
Okay, so we are, if you want to Google it, it's Cypress Point Lodge in Tipton. Cypress Point Lodge in Tiptonville, Tennessee. It is a hunting lodge for duck hunters during this time of year and a fishing resort during the summer. Right there, what you're looking at is the second floor of the resort, the lodge itself. Right there is that's the laundry room, and right there is that top floor is the room with the gentleman that we're looking for. The room next to it would be right about there, were two of his family members, which were recovered deceased. I don't know if you can you hear me, Nick?
Yep.
Okay. Can you try to zoom in where that door's at? So right there, if you kind of see the third tree to the right, that little square object up there, that is about 35 foot off the ground, and that is the door to the gentleman's room that we're looking for, wrapped around that tree. Now, if you pan over, there's mattresses, and that's about 25 to 30 foot off the ground, and those were in the bedrooms. That's another one of the tracos we're using as part of the resort right there. That's one of the state trucks they provided for us today with a side scan. Right there, what he's looking at is the guard shack where the guard was in, and he was thrown out into the water about 50 yards, I believe it was. And that's just more hotel rooms. And people were in these. Just think about it. People were actually in those when the tornado hit. About an hour ago, the National Weather Service contacted me with an update because we needed the information for our calculations and trying to figure out what this gentleman's at. When the tornado hit this building, he was on the northeast corner. The tornado on the ground was the wind speed was anywhere between 136 to 165 miles an hour. Where he's showing you now, that white truck was actually across the highway about 300 yards, and it wound up right there where it's at in the parking lot. He's coming back around. So it's video and pictures do not do this justice. I know that that's the cliche everybody hears, but it's very true. It doesn't do justice at all.
Especially being the first time seeing, a tragedy like this too. It's crazy to think, like, you see it in movies and stuff like that, and like, oh man, that's bad. But you get here and you see it and like, holy shit. The fact that people were inside some of these and they survived just blows my mind. It's just kind of ironic. It's kind of a luck situation. Like that second story with the wall hanging down, that was the one that we were talking about earlier, where the wall actually pinned him inside and actually saved his life, because he didn't get sucked out. How fast were the winds when it was passing here again?
The winds were 136 to 165 miles an hour.
Yeah. And how many miles did this tornado travel? It was somewhere close to about 200, wasn't it?
I think it was closer to 300. I'm like, to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, for me, this is day 4. So actually, what's today? Wednesday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is day 5. So this is, I'm hitting my peak right now. So luckily tomorrow, No, I'm not saying luckily like it's a good thing, but you know, it'll be downtime for everybody, you know. So tomorrow we're supposed to get some storms come through here. So the recovery and the search efforts are going to die down a little bit for a little while. And it's good, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Give
bad for
everybody a
the
break.
Yeah, it's bad for the families, but you know, we need to recharge, you know, because like with anything like in the military, you know, you can overdo it. You can push yourself to where you're actually, you know, not productive. You know,
Yeah.
you're hindrance. So
Yeah, we were actually debating on what we were gonna do, and now with the rain coming in, we're actually sitting here thinking like, it's almost getting to the point where I don't know how much more we can do. So in situations like this, I'm assuming you guys kind of get people that come around here and cause more issues than they do actually help. And
yeah,
we're
and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, you know, and not just donations, but you know, people with chainsaws or you know, little bobcats, whatever they have that want to come help. You know, before you leave, you know, wherever you're from and travel 3, 4, 500 miles, let somebody know you're coming. Make sure the need's
yeah,
there. You know, it's not that they don't appreciate it, but it's you can have too many people and it's more of a liability and accountability and stuff like that. So um,
sure,
just to make sure that you're needed, you know, you're wanted, but whether the needs there or not is different. We run into that
absolutely,
all the time, you know, and like we've had people come in like yesterday we had, and I'm not being unappreciative, but we had a gentleman call us from Houston, says, I'm bringing 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel for you. That is great. We love it. But he showed up 24 hours before he said he was going to get here. So logistically, we weren't ready for that. He was
yeah,
upset a little bit at first, you know, and I was like, look, man, you're here a day before. So it's not like I can get every backhoe, tractor, everything in the county that we're working on to come here. You know, you're going to have to go out and
yeah,
find it. You know, so once he realized and got here the lay of the land, he understood what I was talking about. But just little
sure,
stuff like that, because um, we're stretched. You know, typically my organization doesn't do this type of stuff, but the emergency management director's, a friend of mine, and he asked me if we can, help organize some of that stuff. So, of course, I'm not going to say no, but it just adds more burden, to more stress to the people that that could be just taking them away from something that they could be doing, because you know
absolutely,
everything's on a time schedule. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. So him throwing that wrench in the project pushes everything else off, and but everything works out, and it typically does with stuff like this. And it's just gonna take time, like we mentioned earlier. This isn't, I know everybody wants to give now and help out now, but get your cell phone and put tornado help, Casey, Kentucky, wherever you want to help out. Get your cell phone and put a reminder for 15 days, 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days out. and I'm being for real. And it reminds you,
yeah,
like, hey, because, this is going to be off the news in a couple of weeks, honestly. To be honest, it
sure,
is. Something else is going to happen,
yeah,
So if you remind yourself, it's going to be out of the news. It's going to be out of your mind, everybody else's mind. But guess what? These people are going to be still living in this crap.
yeah.
That's what it is. They're going to be living in this.
Especially the ones who lost their house.
Yeah.
They don't have anywhere to
It,
go.
and it's like, nobody knows when the government's going to come in and help, if they do help, so they're going to need, this is a long term situation. I was born and raised on the Gulf Coast, seen hurricanes since I can remember seeing hurricanes. That we've gotten so used to that it's almost methodical. We know
Sure.
the phases of what's going to go on. It's going to be a while, especially these low income communities. This could be a very long
Yeah.
time for them to recover, if they even recover.
Sure.
We're
Especially
talking,
Casey.
yeah, we're
Casey's
talking,
such a small town.
yeah, we were talking to Jay Black last night, and that's his backyard.
Yep.
He goes, I don't even think they'll come back from it, because
Yeah.
a lot of people won't rebuild because they're older, or the younger ones, they'll just leave. At the intersection there in KC, that was their town. I mean, that was 3 or 4 shops, family-owned businesses that
Yeah.
have been in business for generations, completely gone, just wiped off the face of the
Yeah.
map. You know, some of them not even there. You don't even like, where does, you know, a 20-foot by 30-foot concrete building go? It's not there.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
like,
gone.
like it's gone. Like, where's that? Where's all that material at? Like, where's all the content?
There was a lady yesterday I was talking to. A whole combine is gone.
Yeah.
They still haven't found it. You know, it's been 4 days at that time. Still hasn't found it. Nowhere to be found. You know,
The friend of mine was the best man at his wedding. The neighbors
Yeah.
across the street, they don't even know where they're. I think they had like a 50 or 60-foot mobile home. It's gone. I mean,
Gone.
like nobody knows where the hell it's at. It's like,
yeah,
there's bits and pieces of what was inside, but the frame and the outside, the walls and the roof are just gone, like just disintegrated, you know. And there's so on our Facebook page, we've been posting stories. We've been trying to do them every day. I plan on doing it today, but we got called off to this. This takes precedence over that. It sucks to say, but it does. You know, they're alive. But I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. It's of a young family. They rode the storm out, and the dad was holding on to the son, and they got yanked out of their house, thrown into the soybean field about 100 yards, got up and walked away. Just like,
wow. The
like,
fact that they're still alive is such an amazing thing.
But there's,
You know,
and this is, I mean, KC, Kentucky, CAYCE, population of 90. The stories that these people are telling, I mean, they're very proud people, you know, and they're humbled by this. But the stories they're telling are, I mean, it should be a movie. I mean, it really should. I mean,
everybody I've met in Casey is very calm, very relaxed, very nice. They're joking, they're laughing, their spirits are up.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
somebody needs to come in here and write a book. I mean, it's small town USA. It really is. And just to see what, like you said, see what they've been through, you know, in the past 5 days, and for their spirits to be that high, you know, and stuff. It's just it's amazing. And just hearing the stories, and you know, I'm very emotional about it because those are my people. You know, they took me in as family. So just hearing that, and just like me knowing their background stories and what they're doing, and you know how they used to act before this, and some of them are a lot calmer, you know. But just seeing that it's amazing. Even here, you know, this area, talking to people, it's like, wow, you know, like, so we're actually in Tiptonville, Tennessee. Literally, I can throw
maybe like 10 minutes south of the border, right?
Yeah, so
if that.
I can throw a rock and hit Sandburg, which is the next little community over. That place is leveled. I mean,
yeah, when we drove through today,
it's probably, I think,
nothing left.
They didn't update me on the weather. National Weather Service didn't update me on that because I didn't ask for it. But the width of that had to be well over half a mile.
It had to have, yeah.
I mean,
the amount of buildings that were destroyed in every direction, you know, because you can almost see the path in some areas, but you can't see the path. Everything's gone.
It's huge. I mean, just gone. And you think like, okay, how did the tornado decide this? Because I don't know if you noticed it. Maybe on the way out you'll see it, but there's one auto parts store. There's nothing wrong with it. It's in the middle of everything. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And I was like, what the hell happened here? You know, it's like, it's crazy. You know, that building, and I believe it was the volunteer fire department wasn't touched.
There's a couple buildings in Mayfield right in the middle of everything, just pristine, nothing wrong. Maybe a couple scratches.
I'm gonna have to jump off here, but
okay.
Before I leave, Nick, you two guys, man, y'all are amazing.
Thanks, bud.
Thumbs up.
I really appreciate you guys giving us
Yeah,
something to do too,
no,
because
man, I appreciate you coming down. And there's, I'm very picky about the groups we work with. And but guys are great. And
well, maybe we'll see each other again too,
yeah,
because
I look
the
forward
the
to
way
working
you
with
have
you guys.
everything organized,
Yeah,
you're very organized. You're very, to the point, and just came out here and just got things done, man. So I really appreciate everything you've done. I'm glad we had somebody to connect with, because on our way down here, we were just here to find Kevin's mom. And once we found her, it's like, well, we're down here. We need to get to work. And not just wandering aimlessly and having somewhere to go. I really appreciate you sending us somewhere. So thank you.
not a problem, man. You take care of yourself, and appreciate everybody. If y'all, like I said, if y'all want to help, go to our Facebook page. We like to grow. We like to help people out, and just keep that in the back of your mind. Even if you hear a news story in your area, get a hold of us, and we can reach out to family or law enforcement and see if we can help in any way.
Sounds good.
I
All right.
appreciate
Well,
it.
thanks a lot, George. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us for a little bit.
All right, talk to you, man.
Thank you. Oh, wow. So like I said, this is the first time I've ever been out to a tragedy or a natural disaster, and I'm glad I came. It sucks seeing all this stuff, and it is difficult to deal with. Luckily for me, I've had training in the military, and 4 deployments overseas to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I was stationed in Balad Air Base back in 2009, 2010, and we got mortared 190 times in about a 6-month period. So disaster cleanup is something I've done before, so I'm not just a new guy coming down, not know what I'm getting into. Plus, like I said earlier, Justin, thank you so much for doing our logistics for us. Go check out gorescue.com. Go, for you listening on the radio, is called GEAUX Rescue. Go is spelled GEAUX Rescue.com. These guys have been amazing, and he's told me a lot of his plans, what they want to do with his organization. And I would absolutely support it. I'm going to be adding them as a link on our website on warriorsnextadventure.com. All his information is in the comments. You can actually go check it out, and or in the show description, sorry. You can go to his website, check it out. Go check out their Facebook too, and what you heard earlier. For those who might not have heard, you can go to the Facebook and you can actually see the Amazon wish list of things that they may need. Again, like everybody is saying, stop sending water. It's helpful, it's nice, but there's literally mounds of water everywhere, which is a good thing. It's just to the point now where too much is coming in, so we need to shift gears. There's been many different places that you can contact to see what they need. You can go to gorescue.com and see what they need. The Casey Baptist Church is a place that's been amazing. They've taken great care of us. They gave us a fresh meal last night. I got to try some Southern chicken and dumplings. It was amazing. And they're collecting supplies, and they also have a lot of kids that are there. There's children's clothing, all kinds of stuff. There's a couple other places that you can get out to if you, like he said, if you just Google tornado disaster relief, find a city, and actually get a hold of somebody before you just start sending stuff. The more people I talk to, the more frustrating I realize it can be doing this kind of stuff, because people want to help, people want to give, but sometimes a little too many of the same thing comes in. Like water is probably the one thing that we don't need down here. Even food is pretty stocked up. There's all kinds of people. I've heard some amazing stories over the last few days, and it's been really cool sitting there talking to everybody to see how all of this stuff worked out. And I'm actually shocked to see how well everybody came together. There was one guy who literally just grabbed a ton of meat and grabbed a barbecue grill, drove to downtown Mayfield, and just started serving people. Nobody's charging anything. We were driving through last night, and a group of people stopped us on the side of the road and gave us, Monster Energy drinks and Red Bulls, and just said, hey, keep working hard. So there's people here that are doing a lot of really good stuff. If you're trying to come down and help out, I would definitely contact some people. I've been sending people to the KC Baptist Church because, like George was saying, their town was devastated. It might be a town of 90 people. That's about 80% of their houses are gone. And when I say gone, I mean there's nearly no foundation left. It's really quite sad how much has been destroyed. Like, you guys saw the video earlier. If you guys didn't see the video, go to KGRA Digital Broadcasting YouTube, Warriors Next Adventure YouTube, or Veterans Action Report YouTube. You can see the video earlier on in the episode. I kind of walked around while George explained what all happened. The place that we're here looking for, likely in the lake. They found two of the people that were in the room next to him out on the shoreline, and they had passed in the storm. And his mattress is actually about 30 feet up in the air on a tree, and the door is wrapped around the tree. So, like he was saying earlier, about 160-mile-an-hour winds likely tossed him into the lake. So we're here trying to find him, trying to do our best to help the family out. The family's here helping us search. We were walking around the shoreline trying to look for it earlier, and unfortunately nothing yet, but we're going to stay here until we figure it out. For those who didn't hear earlier, the reason why we came down here was to help one of my veterans up in Minnesota who moved to Minnesota from Kentucky to help find his mom. When the storm came through, there was no contact with her, and it had been a few days, and so we decided to drive down to look for his mom. Luckily, right as we got into town, we located her, and she's good to go. We're actually going to have dinner with her and Kevin's dad tonight, and go kind of see where Kevin is from. It's been amazing down here in Kentucky. Obviously, we're on the north side of Tennessee right now, but we're heading back into Kentucky tonight, and it's just been so humbling coming to something like this and seeing how friendly everybody is and how helpful everybody's been. Again, like I said earlier, I just wish it didn't take a tragedy for people to act like that. Earlier today, we were hanging out with the sheriff of this town, and just one of the nicest people I've ever met. And he was saying himself that the community coming together is the most beautiful thing that he gets to see during certain tragedies. So something I want to kind of get everybody to start thinking about: what can you do for your neighbor, right? What can we do to bring each other a little bit closer? You don't have to wait for a tragedy to actually make a difference in somebody's life. Maybe go, knock on your neighbor's door, bring them some food. Or my neighbors have done that for me, which is amazing, because they're Hmong and their food is fantastic. See what you can do to help somebody out around the neighborhood. In the Air Force, it's a little corny, but they always say integrity is one of our core values, and it absolutely is one of mine, because what I like to challenge people to do is just do something nice for somebody. Help somebody out. It may be the difference in their full day to actually, make them have a good day, or, it could save their life. We talk often at Warriors Next Adventure is you have to reach out to people, and you have to be vulnerable with other folks, and one conversation can change somebody's life. So be good to each other, guys. That's my time for today. You guys can go check out warriorsnextadventure.com, or check out Houses for Warriors. Andrew's leading that. He actually just moved one of his veterans into his own home, which is amazing. Go check out Houses for Warriors Facebook and go watch that video. It's beautiful. This veteran was living in a storage unit, and then moved into the veterans home that Houses for Warriors set up. And today they actually moved him into his own apartment, which is absolutely beautiful. So thank you, everybody who helped out with that. Warriors Next Adventure's got a lot going on. We're obviously down in Kentucky right now. We'll be back in Minnesota soon. We're working on the race car. We have a street stock car that we're building out. So if you guys are interested in working on one of the race cars or want to be a sponsor, we are taking sponsorships. Go check out Veterans Action Report on Patreon. You guys can subscribe for $5 a month. It's super helpful because it helps us pay our internet bills and everything else that comes with the show, and it helps us keep this thing going. Again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, KGRA Digital Broadcasting, for putting us on. I really, really appreciate this opportunity, and thank you all for listening.
Perfect.